Greetings, fellow communication students. Welcome to my speech. My persuasive speech is titled Inhospitable Food, and it's regarding the unhealthy choices we have to deal with as healthcare workers in the hospitals. Hospitals are killing us with their food, that is. Thank you for your attention as I try to persuade the Hurley Hospital administration and the community to support providing healthcare workers with healthier, more accessible, and affordable food choices. Food is medicine or food is poison. Our local hospitals do an outstanding job of responding to the healthcare needs of our community. We have second to none cardiovascular care, stroke care. We're the only level 1 trauma center and the safest place to deliver babies. The greatest resources of Hurley are its employees who keep the facility humming along 24/7. In order to keep our bodies humming along, however, we desperately need healthy, affordable, and perhaps most importantly, accessible food options available around the clock. For instance, studies show that nurses are more likely to be overweight than the general public. I know when I first started nursing, I was super excited thinking I'd lose some weight, and I quickly found out that just wasn't the case. It was quite the opposite. Though you're on your feet a lot longer and running around, there's a lot of other contributing factors such as stress, rushed eating, limited breaks. Additionally, repeated findings show limited cafeteria hours, especially for night shift workers. A lot of healthcare workers eat pretty poorly, but night shift workers are shown to eat a greater amount of fried food and saturated fats and less fruits and vegetables when compared to day shift workers. Using Hurley Hospital as an example, on night shift, the cafeteria is open only 2 hours during the night. And if you're lucky enough to get down there during those 2 hours, usually the only station open is the fried food station. Serves mostly fried food and hamburgers. Day shift is slightly better with a fresh omelet bar, which is only open for about 45 minutes in the morning. It always has a line a mile long. It moves at a snail's pace, and at any point they cut the line off. It's a perfect illustration of healthcare workers wanting better options, yet barriers exist. Another example is a salad bar. Inexplicably, it is open only for a short amount of time within the slots that the cafeteria is open. And usually at least half the time the cafeteria, the salad bars close and the pizza and fried food line is always open. This is not unique to Hurley, as healthcare workers generally report access to cafeterias and healthy food is a barrier to meal access. Further, healthcare workers often view food from cafeterias as expensive and overpriced. Across the board, healthy and fresh foods often were priced significantly higher than fried and processed foods. Thus, why not just bring in our own food, one might ask? We do, not as often as we'd like. Working 12 to 13-hour shifts, often back-to-back, leaves little time for food prep, shopping, and meal planning. There's also on-site barriers that are reported frequently that we do experience at Hurley. The break rooms and refrigerators are usually filthy. They're too small to hold everyone's food. There's usually spills, and they're definitely not regularly cleaned. This is just an example that I found. I'll share this with you. And that's pretty typical, just filthy lockers where everybody keeps their personal boots, coats, and a few chairs, and just limited space, limited cleaning. Finally, inadequate breaks and insufficient staffing frequently lead to rushed overeating when you finally do get a minute to eat. In my personal experience, and in a National Institutes of Health study, nurses are frequently interrupted during lunch breaks. That is probably why we rush, because we are conditioned to knowing that we could be called away at any moment. Therefore, if we as a society are to recognize that healthcare workers are important resources who care for the community, it's important to recognize that there's an ongoing shortage, predicted to get worse. Now is the time to address this issue that affects every healthcare worker in both the short and the long term. As doctors, nurses, medical techs, and CNAs dedicate their lives to preserving yours, we call upon hospitals locally and worldwide to help us maintain our own. Thank you.